Right, and this is my video blog about offending behaviour and how the prisons will deal with it. So within this blog I will identify the following: how custodial environments work to encourage positive behaviour within prisons and build it, how prisons deal with offending behaviour, how offenders are prepared for rehabilitation. I'll analyse how developing positive relationships in prison will benefit them, the individual inside prison and out in the community. And finally, I'll appraise these programs that they've put in place for offending behaviour, and I'll give my opinion in with that as well. So let's get in on it. So custodial environments will help offenders build positive relationships by putting in place programs that will help them in the long run, such as like anger management, alcohol, drug abuse type of programs. They'll put these in place to sort of like distract prisoners from being abusive with drugs and alcohol, and they'll have meetings with them, especially if it's anger management. They have regular meetings and they'll do stuff for them that will make them not feel like not develop anger or rage. So they'll make stuff for them, and it will vary on what they have, because everyone's different in their own ways. They have like different ways of trying to tackle it, their programs. So all the programs will be different, which is a good thing, 'cause it means that not all prisoners are set with the same program. So it's all right. So if, like, say if you're angry, if you have anger management, doing physical activity like gym, that'll help them a lot in the long run. So it keeps, and also it will keep them out of trouble as well if they've got programs in place. So like English, maths, BTECs, reading, writing, all that type of stuff. That'll keep them out of trouble, and because they're learning while they're in prison, which means they'll be able to make it easier for them in the long run, which is another good thing. And like building positive relationships is good, because they'll have more relationships with the prisoners and the prison guards, because they're there learning, and they're making new inmates that won't get in trouble because they're there to learn as well in the prison. So now I'm going to move on to how prisons deal with offending behaviour. Prisons deal with offending behaviour in a couple of ways. If they're caught doing a quite bad offence, they'll get punished, such as holding another prisoner hostage. They'll get punished for that. They'll have like solitary confinement and stuff like that. But punishments vary on what the person's actually done. So how this is rearranged. So if it's not that bad, they'll get something like some loss of privileges, like no visits or not getting paid and stuff like that. But they'll vary. And they'll also get like their privileges taken away from them. So like no TV, their bedding will get taken away, their clothes that they get to wear, which they've earned for a long time, to try and get up to that standard, and not being allowed to see other prisoners or other people that you want to get along with. So they basically cut out everything to make you be good again, which is a good thing in prison, because it means it will try and make them learn and to be good and know what offending behaviour is in the long run, which is nice. So now I want to move on to how offenders are prepared for rehabilitation. So they're prepared for rehabilitation in many ways. This can be through housing support, drug support, alcohol support, lessons with prisoners and teachers that are there, awareness programs, employment, supports. They'll have like programs put in place for people that have had domestic abuse that's happened to them. So it's all going to be good. They're trying to set them up in the long run, which will be good for when they're out of prison, so they don't reoffend and come back into prison. So it keeps the recidivism rates low, which is good. So having housing support for when prisoners are ready to leave is a good thing, because it's trying to set them up with their own house in the future when they are prepared to leave, and they can get additional support to live, which means they'll get like a little bit of a wage to help them get into an apartment or whatever it is to live there. Or if they can't get one through the prison service, they've got 3 different organisations that will help them with this. They're called Sacro, Homelink, and Los Shaber Lifestyles. These 3 organisations are designed to help prisoners with getting into housing when they leave prison, so they're not going to be homeless, which then creates more crimes for them because they're homeless. They want to steal stuff to eat and drink. The addiction services that are available to them, alcohol, drug abuse. They have like programs put in place for them to make them stop taking drugs and alcohol. They will have other stuff for them to use until they cut it out, so then they won't go back to using drugs and alcohol when they're out of prison. Now keep in regular contact with the person that's running their meetings and stuff like that. There will be like offending awareness programs so they know what offending behaviour is like in the long run. That's for men and women as well, so then it's like to help them with community work as well, so if they know what bad behaviour and what crimes are, they're more understanding of it and they won't commit it again, which is a good thing. I think these awareness programs will be good for prisoners because it teaches them good from wrong and they can finally see what they've done wrong in society. So they will have like support and training for employment to make them more employable, obviously, because as soon as they go out, they don't want to be back into prison. So if they get something to stand on their own 2 feet, like getting a wage and getting the house, getting the food, then there'll be a lower chance of them recommitting crimes, and they make them more employable for the future. Obviously, if they're doing all their GCSEs and their BTECs in prison, so there are places out there who employ prisoners, ex-prisoners rather, should I say. So now I'm going to move on to how positive relationships will benefit the prisoners in society. So they'll improve prisoners. Positive relationships will help prisoners in society because if they concentrate and gain qualifications, then it means that they won't go back into prison. They'll concentrate on getting their life sorted out, and then it'll mean that they're focusing on themselves, not on other people. And then it means if they get a job, they won't go back in, and it won't be in a cycle that they keep on going in, coming out, in and out, etc. Which is a key thing for prison service, because they want to rehabilitate all the prisoners that need it, so they can get out of prison and not come back in, because prisons are overcrowded nowadays, as you can probably tell. So they want as much prisoners to get out, get a job, and get a living. And they can also reconnect with family members that they've lost through them committing crimes. So if their family might not want to be a part of their life while they've committed crimes, so if they've come out of prison, they've got a job, they've got somewhere to live, they've got a family coming along, then their family might want to get back in on this, which is a good thing. So then it brings them closer, and it makes the ex-prisoner feel more welcomed and less likely to commit crimes in a way, if you understand what I'm meaning from that. They also find it easier to speak to other people, make new friends, so they can forget about the old friends that put them into prison, so they can make new friends and settle down with them, as opposed to going out, meeting up with old friends, doing crimes and going back into prison, which means it'll be back in that cycle, which is not good. So yeah, and there'll be a lower chance of the prisoners who are released in there. So that's basically going back to my point I just said, which is one of the better things at prison. That's what the prison service is there for. They don't want prisoners to go in and out of prison, even though they're there to keep them safe. But that's the main thing that they want. They want the prisoners out to get out, get a job, get places to live, and stuff like that. So there we go. Sorry about that. I just wanted a quick drink of my tea then. So let's carry back on with this. Right, so I'm going to be talking about the impact that these offending behaviour programs have on the prisoners. They've got positive and negatives, and I'll just give my own opinion on this at the end. So these programs can have a positive effect, a negative effect, as they are individually devised for the prisoner themselves, so then it can help them. So because same prisoners can't have the same program because they both react differently to it, so they have to adapt it and change it every time for different prisoners. So that's a good thing, because it means that everyone gets a chance of having something different, and they'll find it easier for them in a way. So, which is one of the better things. So it's all right. So a positive impact would be that they're having something in place to deal with having prison. There's been something put in place to deal with the problems that they have, so anger, alcohol, drug addictions, stuff like that, or even if they need lessons to help them in the long run. So that's going to be good for them because then it means there's less chance of them getting punished. They get more rewards. So like you've got a scheme in place, we've got different levels. I think it stands at basic, standard, and then enhanced. They're the different levels that you can get in prison service, which means you get better rewards. So basic, you're just on the standard level. Standard, you're on the basic level of privileges, and standard you get a bit more. You get like a bit more money, a little bit more visits and stuff like that. When you get onto enhanced, you get your own clothing, your own bedding, TV, Xbox. But as soon as you do a punishment and do some offending behaviour and not follow your program, all of that gets taken away and you're back down to the basic level no matter what you do. So yeah, these will have a positive impact, and they can be done to calm prisoners down in the way, so they can know what they're doing. They know what's right and wrong in prison. So even if they are a bit angry, they can follow their plan to calm them down, which is a good thing. Because then it means that they won't commit an offence in prison, which means they'll get more days in prison by an executive adjudicator, which means that they which means they'll spend extra time in prison. So breaching their program, something they don't want to do because it would mean them not getting anywhere, more punishments and stuff like that. So yeah, punishments would be one of the main reasons why they will follow their program in the long run. Because if they don't, it means they're not getting the help that they need for themselves, because they need the help. That's why they got them offending programs in place to help the prisoners and the prison officers, because the prison officers won't have to sort of like use their skills as much to stop them from getting abused and attacked. So if they've got these anger management offending programs in place, it means that the prisoners who have these type of issues will not get into get into trouble, get anger over everything. They'll have their own ways of calming them down, relieving their stress, and then they'll carry on with their program, and they won't generally be annoying or a nuisance to the prisoners or the prison officers, which is a good thing because no one wants that. Because it just means there's more commotion for them and ends up going downhill for the prisoner. They won't be doing their programs properly. They won't be learning. They won't be getting themselves set up for later on in life when they want to get out of prison. So it's all in all this program. These programs are there to help them when they get out of prison, which is one of the better things that they can do is follow these programs, stay out of the trouble, just knuckle down, do the programs in prison instead, because you do them in there, then you're ready and set for the big wide world outside of prison as well. So yeah, this is going to be my opinion now. So my opinion on these programs and how prisons are run, they're run all right, but they need improving with the rehabilitation schemes. They need to make it more open to prisoners to do. They need to have a wider range of activities for them to do as well. Making them it's hard to explain, but they need to be out. Oh, it's hard to explain, but they need to be doing their programs are good. That's one of the better things I think they have about it, because it means that they know what they're expected to do when they're out of prison and in a working environment, and they're getting their grades ready, which is good. They're getting their grades in prison instead of in school, and they're able to concentrate more in prison because they've got them incentives and rewards that they can get for turning up to their lessons, getting paid and stuff like that. I think that's good for them, because it means that they're actually going to concentrate and focus on doing something within the prison, so they can get incentives and stuff like that. And then when they're out of prison and they get all this housing support and stuff like that, I love that type of stuff that they get in for that. It means they're getting them off their feet and into something good. And they've got their probation officer there to help them, do regular meetings with them. Love that type of stuff with them, because they're keeping in contact with them, seeing how they are and stuff like that. One of the better things you can possibly do within prisons. So I'm loving that. So them keeping in contact with the probation officer, they'll get them. They'll speak about their like if they're still in like alcohol or drug abuse when they're out of prison. So they'll help them stop that by having their regular meetings and their anger management programs. They'll still follow them outside of prisons so they don't get angry and commit a crime and come back in. So the probation officer will check on that as well and stuff like that. Love that type of stuff. So that's pretty much my opinion on it. These programs, they work and they don't work. If they don't work, the prisoners come back into prison. They will have another program set for them in the long run if they don't work. So I'm loving that. So, well, not really loving it, but it's like they're coming back in. They're getting another program, which is the part I like, because you're getting another program which is going to be different and it's going to be ready for them to redo in prison again. So yeah, that's pretty much my video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.